welcome to Hiring Our Heroes and our Transition Tuesday. I hope everyone had a wonderful Labor Day weekend, and this is a great start to your short week. And it will culminate with a great virtual career fair that we'll have in the next day. So my name is Adam Rock. I'm a senior director here at Hiring Our Heroes. And today I have the honor, distinct honor of having a series of speakers here, but our Transition Tuesday today is about the Veterans Benefits Administration. We've got about 10 keynote speakers today with some wonderful information all about how to get hired at the VBA. I'm going to turn it over to them in just a second, but first of all, I want to thank our sponsors who are making today happen. First of all, Toyota, Raisin, Phillips 66, and Capital One. We're grateful to your support and we're indebted to you. Let me quickly talk about the Veterans Administration in general, though, and what they have to offer. I'm personally grateful as a retired veteran myself for all the services that they've provided and the mission that they do. So if you're a veteran out there and you're interested in the VBA, which you're going to talk to you about, remember, it's about continuing to serve, just as I'm doing with Hiring Our Heroes. It's a great opportunity for you to give back and continue to serve. So we've got some great speakers. I'm going to turn it over for our first one. I'll quarterback today, so I'll lead us through today's agenda. We'll take about 45 minutes, and the VBA will introduce some information to you. We've got a Q&A tab at the bottom and a chat tab on your box. If you have a question, please type it into the Q&A tab. If you accidentally type it into the chat tab, we'll make sure that it gets answered. Let me go ahead and introduce our first speaker this morning. It's Maurice Sloan. He's the Assistant Director for Operations at OTM. And I will say, Maurice, that I read your bio and you're an Army veteran, so a soldier for life. I'll turn it over to you, Maurice.
Thank you, Adam. I'm here to introduce Mr. Jeffrey M. Smith. Mr. Smith was appointed the Interim Executive Director, Office of Talent Management on March 2nd, 2020. Mr. Smith is the Principal Advisor to the Undersecretary for Benefits and other key officials within the Department of Veteran Affairs and Veterans Benefits Administration on matters pertaining to VBA's human capital management programs, practices, applicable laws and regulations, as well as employee development and training programs. Mr. Smith's permanent role within VBA is the Executive Director of the Office of Mission Support. In this role, he is the Principal Advisor to the Undersecretary for Benefits and other key officials on all administration, acquisitions, facilities, and emergency preparedness programs and policies. Mr. Smith's office provides operational directions in numerous areas to include FOIA, privacy, records, fleet, procurement, safety, security watch operations, and facilities management across the benefits enterprise. Prior to VBA, he served as the Division Director of Mission Support for the Federal Emergency Management Agency, Region 7, Office in Kansas City, Missouri. Mr. Smith is retired from the U.S. Coast Guard. He retired in 2007 after a 24-year career, both officer and enlisted, serving in a wide variety of strategic and tactical staff positions throughout the United States. Without further ado, I welcome everyone on the call, and I welcome Mr. Jeffrey M. Smith.
Well, good morning, everyone. Maurice, thank you for that kind introduction. I very much appreciate it. Again, good morning, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well and safe, and you enjoyed your nice long weekend like most of us did. I want to thank you for joining the Hiring Our Heroes Employer Connection. I'm honored to kick off today's presentation. As you know, the Hiring Our Heroes initiative was launched in 2011, and it's a great opportunity for the department to connect with you, our veterans, our service members, and military spouses for the many employment opportunities here at VA. I'm hoping after today's presentation, you will recognize that the Department of Veteran Affairs is a tremendous career choice that you should really take advantage of. At the Veterans Benefits Administration, VBA, we are dedicated to providing world-class benefits and services to our veterans and their families every hour of the day every day of the week and every week of the year. We literally never stop. We offer our veterans an array of services and benefits to include compensation, pension, education, home loan, and life insurance programs. We assist our returning heroes transitioning from military to civilian life, empowering our heroes like you with a broad range of choices to help with the transition. I'm certain you are aware of the many services and benefits that VBA offers, and I'm hoping you are taking advantage of those. To ensure that we meet the demands of our growing veteran community and deliver on our promise to be the best, VBA is committed to recruiting highly qualified employees. VBA is currently over 25,000 employees strong, with 56% of those being veterans, which is a pretty powerful message. VA currently ranks 6th among the large federal agencies as one of the best places to work, and we want you to join our team to continue the great work of serving our heroes. We're one of the best organizations because we encourage high level of employee engagement. We listen to our employees. We encourage an innovative environment. And most importantly, we maintain our focus on our customers. Our employees are driven by the VA core values of integrity, commitment, advocacy, respect, and excellence, also known as I Care, in delivering services and benefits to our veterans. As a VBA employee, you are entitled to the best quality health insurance and benefits that aren't always available in the private sector. Most importantly, you would take part in VA's mission to fulfill President Lincoln's promise to care for him who shall have borne the battle for his widow and his orphan. What better way for you to continue to serve our country than working here at VA next to your military brothers and sisters and supporting our nation's heroes? We have a number of staff that will be sharing some information about their offices and current job opportunities, so I hope you enjoy the presentation and you will seriously consider coming to work with us at VBA. I wish you all the best, and from one veteran to another, thank you for your service. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Appreciate those remarks, and thank you for your service in the Coast Guard. Next, I'll turn it over to Ms. Sonia Williams. Sonia?
Good morning. My name is Sonia Williams, and I am a lead HR specialist with the VBA Central Office Human Resources staff. As Mr. Smith stated, our mission is to fulfill President Lincoln's promise to care for him who have borne the battle and for his widow and his orphan by serving and honoring the men and women who are America's veterans. How would you like to become a part of a team providing compassionate care to veterans? As a VA professional, your opportunities are endless. With many openings in multiple functions of the Department of Veterans Affairs, you will have a wide range of opportunities and leadership positions at your very fingertips. Now, during the most recent federal government shutdown, the Veterans Benefit Administration was not impacted which allowed us to continuously provide veterans with support. The U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs operates the largest, most technologically advanced integrated healthcare system in the United States. And the VA has more than 1,400 locations, including 153 medical centers, 909 ambulatory and community-based outpatient clinics, 135 nursing homes, 232 veteran centers, 47 readjustment counseling centers, and 108 comprehensive home care programs across 50 states, the District of Columbia, and the U.S. territories.
Thank you very much, Sonia. Carrie Nash, I think you're up next, please.
Yes, thank you. Good morning. I'll be discussing some of the recruitment sources that are available to veterans. So I'll start with the Veterans Recruitment Act. To be eligible for this, you have to be a disabled veteran or a veteran who served on active duty during a war or a campaign or expedition, or recently separated, which is within the last 3 years. The VRA eligibility is open for jobs up to the GS11 grade. Next would be the Schedule A, which is used for hiring people with severe physical, psychiatric, and intellectual disabilities. To be eligible for this, you provide a proof of disability, which would be a letter from a licensed medical professional, a licensed vocational rehabilitation specialist, or any federal or state agency that provides disability benefits. Another recruitment source that is available is for military spouses. The eligibility requirements is a spouse who's married to a service member on or prior to the date of his or her PCS orders and relocated with the service member to the designated duty station. A spouse of a service member released from active duty or a retiree who incurred 100% service-connected disability on active duty. And then a widow or widower of a service member who was killed while servicing on active duty in the armed forces. Another availability is for 30% or more disabled veterans. The eligibility requirement for this is you have to be retired from active military service with service-connected disability rating of 30% or more, or have a rating by the Department of Veterans Affairs showing a compensation service-connected disability of 30% or more. And this hiring authority will allow you to get a temporary or term position, and then after 60 days, can be converted to a regular full-time position. The disabled veterans enrolled in a VA training program. This is open to disabled veterans eligible for training under the VA Vocational Rehabilitation Program and may enroll for training or work experience at the agency while enrolled in the VA program. The veteran is not a federal employee. And then once you successfully complete your training, you can be hired as a status quo appointment, which may be converted to a career or career conditional appointment at any time. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Carrie. Next up is Amy Robertson.
Good morning. Hi, I'm Amy Robertson. I'm with the Benefit Administration. I'm the director of the Office of Strategic Engagement. Strategic engagement is really an office that's focused on communicating and engaging with veterans. And as you can see, our mission is to engage internal and external stakeholders to ensure effective communications with veterans and their advocates about the benefits they have earned and deserve. Our vision is to use a collaborative network that deploys trusted veterans benefit information. Sorry, there's some background noise I am dealing with this morning. Anyway, and then our audience is really to engage veterans and the beneficiaries, as well as internal and external stakeholders. If you wouldn't mind skipping that slide, that'd be great. And our office focuses on 4 major areas: communication strategy, marketing, digital communications, and media relations. I won't go through every single bit of information here, but the key is that what we'll talk about later is that we have an opportunity within our digital communications team that we're hoping that some of you might be interested in. But as you can see, there are a number of different things that we provide support in terms of our engagement to veterans. Next slide. And here's just kind of a sampling of some of the different initiatives and projects that we focused on. Maybe some of you have heard about Blue Water Navy. Well, we created a communications toolkit and a PSA, a public service announcement, that I'll highlight in the next slide. But we did other information around Forever GI Bill, the Home Loan Guarantee, the 75th anniversary of the GI Bill, and other programs. But these are just a highlight of some of the things that we've worked on.
Attention, fellow Vietnam veterans. If you have a condition linked to exposure to herbicides,
including toxins like Agent Orange,
and you served offshore of the Republic of Vietnam between 1962 and 1975,
you may now be entitled to expanded VA benefits due to the Blue Water Navy Act of 2019.
veterans who served offshore and were previously denied for Agent Orange-related conditions can refile.
survivors of deceased veterans may also be eligible.
VA is dedicated to helping Blue Water Navy veterans and our families get the benefits we've earned and deserve.
For more information and to see the list of conditions that VA considers related to herbicide exposure,
visit va.gov and search Blue Water Navy.
Or call 1-800-749-8387.
brought to you by the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs.
And as you can see with that public service announcement, that's something that our team worked on together with our veteran community to create a message about the Blue Water Navy Act. While it may not apply to many of you, it's just a sample of some of the work that we do in our office. We're very active in using social media to try to reach veterans where they are, whether they're using Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or the alike. So here are some of the ways that you can follow us and some of the channels that we use. Next slide. We do other things in terms of we have internal TVs that we have that are available to our employees that we share information, and then we provide a lot of event support, photography, video production, graphic design. Again, this is something that we're looking for a digital specialist to help us promote these different benefits and activities. Next slide. We have many different ways to reach our audience. Our websites are one of them, as you can see listed. And then we also use Gov Delivery. We have a monthly newsletter that goes out the first Thursday of the month, and it provides information about veterans benefits. Might be everything from education to home loan to other type of benefits. You can easily subscribe and receive our newsletter. Currently, we have more than 5.3 million subscribers. So we're hoping you'll join and be one of them as well. And then one of the other things that we work on is really building partnerships, such as with Student Veterans of America and other veteran service organizations, as you can see listed here. And how we work with them is we share content. We often ask them about our content, ask them to review it, making sure it will resonate with veterans. And also we participate in different events and activities. Next slide. And then if you'd like to learn more about us or you have questions, here are some ways that you can contact us for general inquiries, if it's media relations related, or if you'd like to learn more about what our digital team does. And then lastly, you may hear about this from some of the presenters. At the start of the FY 2020, we began a campaign called Best Year Ever. It was really designed to help rally employees around having their best year ever in support of veterans. It's a campaign that will continue to the end of this FY, and it's been very exciting to work on, and our team has done a lot in terms of promoting it and engaging employees and others about the program and the campaign. Last slide. And if you have any questions, feel free to list them in the Q&A, and when we get later in the program, I'm happy to address anything that you may have. Thanks so much, Adam.
Oh, thank you, Amy. Great job. And I'm going to turn it over to Janine Gilson. Before I do that, though, I do see some questions coming in. Kimberly's doing a great job answering. And Kimberly, there's one in the chat that you responded to all panelists. You might want to turn it to the attendees so the attendees can see your response.
Okay, thanks for catching that. Thank you.
Great job. Thank you. Janine?
Good morning, everyone. And I'm honored to be here today to talk to you about working at the Office of Financial Management within Veterans Benefits Administration. So without any further ado, I'll jump right in to talk to you a little bit about who we are and where we are and what it is that we do for the Veterans Benefits Administration. And so if you can take a look at the slide here, we do provide advice and counsel surrounding all financial management matters related to VBA's $122 billion, that's with a B, $billion budget. Again, as mentioned, we've got 25,000 employees that we support, and those individuals are the ones who provide services to veterans, claims processors, home loan guarantors, et cetera, as well as providing service to service members and their families in a way that honors their service to this great country. You'll note here that some of the things that we do, and I couldn't put all of this stuff on one slide, so this is a very high level overview here, but we do budget formulation and execution. We have a mandatory budget, which is where all of our benefits payments come out of, as well as a discretionary budget, which is where our employee payroll and travel, supplies, those kinds of activities come out of. We've got a manpower office that collaborates tightly with our human resources organization. Again, payroll is one of our largest expense items, and so linking with our HR organization really does help us appropriately account for those expenditures. We've got a number of policy offices. So we've got accounting policy and reporting. We've also got a financial policy component of our operations, training, and internal control organization. So again, providing that guidance to those individuals who are dealing within the financial management realm every day. We also have a fraud office. It's our benefits protection and remediation. As you can imagine, with the number and the volume of benefits payments we pay out every month, there are individuals who are out there who are trying to get their hands on it, who haven't earned it and are stealing. And so we do have an office that works collaboratively with law enforcement, as well as with our Inspector General's office to identify when fraud happens, to remediate that fraud, and to work to tighten our internal controls such that when we identify a fraud perpetrator, we shut that channel down and work to make sure that similar channels are also shut down and removed. We have an administrative accounting organization, and we have an organization that deals a lot with Treasury. They issue our benefits payment files to Treasury. And then when the payment file or when somebody's payment goes missing or they don't receive the check, we also trace those checks through this organization and we reclaim money that we may have duplicately paid. We are over 190 employees strong, woohoo! And we have 4 distinct geographic areas where we have staff. First and foremost is our Chicago, Illinois Heinz VBA Finance Center. They are the office that, again, collaborates tightly with Treasury and issues that benefits payment file, as well as doing the tracers. We've got an office in sunny Austin, Texas. Our Administrative and Loan Accounting Center is there, and they're the organization that deals with administrative accounting, both for our general operating expense as well as for our loan guarantee program. We have a component of our fiscal systems staff in beautiful St. Petersburg, Florida. And they're the organization that works to make sure our back-end accounting systems and any kind of IT innovation for our financial management community is robust and working and tested, and requirements have been designed and developed, et cetera. So they're heavily connected with our information technology organization. And the rest of us are in Washington, D.C. So all of the policy offices are in Washington, D.C., our budget office, training, internal control, et cetera. Next slide, please. I'm not going to go through all of these responsibilities for you. You can see them yourself, and I did kind of touch upon some of them on the previous slide. But the bottom line that I want to leave you all with is that the Office of Financial Management is at the forefront of driving fiscal stewardship for VBA. We take seriously our obligation to provide a robust stewardship of our federal tax dollars, both because it's good government as well as because it's the right thing to do for veterans. So next slide, please. Just to give you a snapshot of where the money is, we have a $5.2 billion general operating expense budget supporting 56 regional offices and over 25,000 employees. You can see where I mentioned payroll being a huge component of that. You can see where we have in our 2020 dollars in millions, again, which is 2.6 billion if you look at the numbers, where we are as of third quarter actuals. And you can see that we are on target for the overwhelming majority of our obligations. We're where we need to be at this point in the fiscal year. So we've got a huge contract organization. We do rent, communications, and utilities. You know, again, everything else plus travel, that's all lumped into our general operating expenses. So it's a pretty big number. Next slide, please. And as I mentioned before, our benefits budget is tremendously large. And again, looking at this slide here, you can see where all that money goes. Our compensation product line, business line, is our biggest one. We expend $94.9 billion, and we provide benefits to 5.3 million beneficiaries. And again, you can look at the slide and see where all of our business line benefit funding is provided. Next slide, please. So our focus within the Office of Financial Management is vast and deep, as you can see on the slide here. We are huge advocates of enterprise risk management. Our Chief Financial Officer is VBA's risk officer. And so risk is a burgeoning new product line for us, again, and it's linked to all of the things that we provide. Fraud, waste, and abuse, as I mentioned, is a huge focus for us. We're also into modernizing. We realize that in our COVID-19 environment, many people are working from home, most all. And so we need to gear our training offerings to a remote audience. We can't rely on face-to-face training. Our IFAMS is our new accounting system replacement, and that is going to come online in February of 2021. It's right around the corner, so our systems team is actively engaged in providing support to that initiative across the department. We're a huge customer service organization, and I'll talk to that on another slide. We do quarterly calls with our field staff, making sure that you know, they're all read into what's going on from a financial management perspective across the enterprise. Touch points with our customers. We try to, as best as we can, expand and innovate in those areas. How can we best reach our customers in the way that they need to be reached and provide them with the services that they need to receive from us? And at the very bottom, I just want to call attention to the fact that we take very seriously staffing our organization with the right people. And we are excited that so many of you are online here and might be interested in joining us. So that's where our focus is as an organization. As I mentioned, customer satisfaction is huge with us. We are a very customer-centric focused organization. You'll note the Dilbert comment there. We encourage demanding customers and we encourage demanding employees. You know, we want to make sure that we are hitting all of the marks as we provide advice, guidance, counsel, support, professional development for our employees as well as for our customers. And we're a resource, and we take that very seriously as well. You know, we want people to come and ask us questions, get that kind of policy read before they make decisions that have some significant impacts. Want to keep people safe, want to make sure they're following the rules, and we want to make sure that we do that in an environment that encourages the work to get done and move forward. Next slide, please. So my question for you is this: are you awesome? And if you are, we're hiring awesome, and we want you to come join us. And so we've listed a series of positions around which we do routine recruiting. Again, we've got an organization that is very financially organized and looking for staff predominantly in the accounting field, the budget analyst field, actuaries. Our systems and procedures analysts do a lot of work with our financial systems, and other analysts that we're looking for as well. So these are the kinds of positions that we've got available and open, and we would love to have you come work with us. Next slide, please. Are there any questions? And if so, we can.
Yeah, well done. And what we'll do is we'll allow them to ask questions in the Q&A tab, and you and Kimberly can answer them. How's that?
Oh, that would be perfect. Thank you.
Great. You're welcome. Next up is Jen Clare, please.
Thank you very much, Adam. We really appreciate the opportunity to come out today and talk with you all. I am with Veteran Readiness and Employment. We are actually a benefit program under VBA, but because we are all about employment, that's why I'm here to speak with you today. So again, we are Veteran Readiness and Employment, but we were previously known as Vocational Rehabilitation and Employment. It is also referred to as the Chapter 31 program. We assist veterans and service members with service-connected disabilities and an employment handicap to prepare for, obtain, and maintain employment. If you are a service member or a veteran with a service-connected disability, but you really aren't able to work at this time, if you're not feasible for work, we also have a program called Independent Living to assist individuals become more independent in their lives right now, if that is something that is needed. And just as a side note about the VRNE program, there is a basic eligibility period of 12 years. And that period of eligibility starts from the date of separation from active duty or when first notified of a service-connected disability, whichever is later. So how do you know if you're entitled? What does entitlement require or entail? And so you can go to the next slide, please. So for veterans, there's a slight difference in the two, but for veterans, you have to have received an honorable or other than dishonorable discharge. And you have to have a VA service-connected disability rating. If it is 10%, then you have to be determined by our program to have what we call a serious employment handicap. But if it is 20%, you have to be determined by our program to have just an employment handicap. And you would do that by applying for the program and meeting with a counselor going to go through entitlement. And you have to be determined to need the program. It is a needs-based program. It's not quite like the post 9/11 GI Bill or the education benefit, where if you were in service at a certain time frame, you're automatically eligible for that benefit. With this benefit, it is slightly different. For those that are active duty service members, you have to expect to get an honorable discharge. You have to have a VA memorandum rating of 20% or more, and you have to be participating in the Integrated Disability Evaluation System called IDAS, or have an injury or illness that prevents you from performing your military duties. Those are the basic eligibility requirements for the Veteran Readiness and Employment Program. Next slide, please. If you are found entitled to our program, what happens? What do we do then? So like I said, we're basically an employment program with exception to that independent living service. So we have 5 different tracks that veterans and service members can go down. They're not all-inclusive, meaning you don't have to just do one track and you never get another track. It all depends on the services and your needs as you go through the program. But the 5 tracks are reemployment, which is typically for individuals who are already employed, may have these service-connected disabilities that are starting to cause problems on the job, and you need some assistance. So that's reemployment, helping you keep that job or maintain that job. Rapid employment services for new employment, that is, you have transferable skills, you don't need long-term services, you are ready to go look for employment, but you do need our assistance based on your service-connected disabilities. There is a self-employment track for those interested in self-employment, although I will give the little caveat that there are some additional requirements to utilize self-employment. And one of the biggest pieces under the self-employment plan is we can't pay for somebody to start up a business. That still has to go through, you still typically have to get loans, but we do have a self-employment track to try to assist our veterans and service members who are eligible for that track. We have the fourth track would be employment through long-term services. That track means that you need some additional services, for instance, training of some sort, certification of some sort to make you marketable with your service-connected disabilities. And so you would go through that track typically for that. And then the final fifth track is the one that doesn't involve employment typically, but that's that independent living services track for those who might not be feasible for employment. So that's an extremely brief overview of veteran readiness and employment. However, if you're interested in applying or learning more about it, you can go to the ebenefits.va.gov website, or you can go straight to benefits.va.gov, and there is a link for veteran readiness and employment. And on that link, there's also how to apply. Thank you, Adam. Back to you.
Oh, thank you, Jen. That's really important information, so greatly appreciated. Next up is my good friend, Miss Ashley Garbolja Maldonado. Ashley, nice to see you. I think she's here. I see her on. Give her a second to hit unmute. There we go. Ashley, if you're there and speaking, we can't hear you. You're off mute, but we're having some difficulty. Want to give it a couple seconds, try? Apologize to everyone. Brett, do you hear Ashley?
No, I do not.
Ashley? Okay, everyone, we are having some technical difficulty. My apologies, Ashley. We're looking forward to hearing your story, but we cannot hear you. So I'm actually going to have to move on. If we get it fixed, we'll bring you back here at the end. I'm actually going to, apologies, but I'm going to move on to the next presenter that we have is Jenica Ballard. Jenica, do you mind?
Good morning, everyone. Next slide, please. Good morning, everyone. I'm here to list some of the positions that we have currently open with the Veterans Benefits Administration. In the Office of Strategic Engagement, we have a program analyst position, social media and web communications. Next slide. In the Office of Financial Management, we have the current positions available: accountant, budget analyst, systems and procedures analyst, actuary, and program analyst. Next slide. And let's go to the next slide. Okay, and so tomorrow we will be having our virtual hiring event, and it'll be September 9th from 1 to 3, and we'll have those current positions I listed on the previous slide. The location is Washington, D.C., and if you have any questions, please feel free to send an email to the email address listed below. And I saw a question about positions. So all federal government and Department of Veterans Affairs positions are listed on www.usajobs.gov. So please feel free to go to that website for any other positions that you are interested in. And we look forward to meeting with everyone tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it, Jenica. I'm gonna see if she says she's up. Let's come back to you, Ashley, real quick. Take it off mute and let's see if we can hear you, please.
Unmute.
There you go, Ashley.
Can you hear me? All right. Hello, everyone. How are we doing today? So I apologize, I don't have my video up. I'm having a lot of tech issues, so I appreciate you bearing with me. But Adam, it is an absolute pleasure just to see you virtually, my friend. It's been a long time. But as Adam said, so my name is Ashley Garbolja Maldonado. I am a National Guard veteran of 8 years, military police. I am an employee in the Office of Strategic Engagement. I am the first ever marketing specialist, which is an honor and a privilege. But I want to talk to you a little bit about, my journey. As a Student Veterans of America alumni and mentor, I have spoken at national conferences on panels from scholarships, internships, mentorship, and defeating imposter syndrome that plagues some of us as veterans, especially in transition. This is such a near and dear organization, and to now be a VBA employee where I get to actively help communicate nationally and innovate products that better inform our constituents, our peers. To be frank, I worked as a VA work study. I know what it's like to work in a military service office on campus, to be a graduate assistant, to have, tried to go to school, as work 3 jobs, go to school. I ran a metropolitan community college veteran program while I was in Cleveland. I helped start my SVA chapter in 2015 at the University of Akron, and then went on to assist in creating the second ever American Legion post on campus. And all of these resources and programs and initiatives that were out there, I took advantage of every single one of them. Not only did it help me identify myself at large, but all the things that I wasn't giving myself credit for. I can tell you that in the past few years, until somebody sat down and mentored me and said, Ashley, you have the potential for greatness. And I thought that was a bunch of hooey. I was a sergeant, I was leading troops, I was doing all of these things. But to go from a group mentality to a me mentality can be difficult. And I know that hiring our heroes and all of the partners that you're going to be working with, or trying to assist you in employment, they're all here to help. And I want you to take advantage of all of those resources, because I know I would not have gotten a phone call from the undersecretary himself to offer me a job, and that statement to say, well, what's the job? He goes, what do you want to do? I believe that everyone on this call has an opportunity, a calling, a passion, a purpose. Just as you have in your service, you will find that at the VA. And I say that because every day I wake up because I know that I'm going to be helping veterans and their families, the products, the things that I'm doing. My why has completely helped me in making sure that our programs, our initiatives get out to the forefront and to your attention. And as a former, SVA alum, I'm really proud to say that I just started my second master's in public leadership to continue to grow. So I am now and still a student veteran, and I'm proud to say that I am debt-free, going on 4 degrees with over $63,000 in scholarships. And I tell you that anything is possible with some planning, preparation, and patience. But please use the resources that are available to you, because you will find that when opportunity comes knocking, you will be ready. And when the VA called, I answered that call. And now I'm in a position where I make a difference every day. And I know that the veterans on this call, you're a part of the solution. If you didn't have a great experience, or you had a wonderful experience, we want you, we want you, we want you. We want that feedback. We want those folks on our team to improve veterans generations to come, to honor Lincoln's promise. So I want to say thank you for the Office of Talent Management for thinking of me, for the opportunities the VBA has provided me, and to my great boss, Amy, who gave our presentation earlier. Every day we work for you, and I know that if you're interested in the VA, come join the family. Thanks, Adam.
Thank you, Ashley. I'm starting my video again. I should be back on camera here as we get ready to kind of wrap this up. But Ashley, one, great to see you again, or at least hear from you. And your story is an example for all of us veterans out there, past or present, and the future ones that are listening here, how they can succeed in their communities when they decide to transition out of the military. So thank you very much for all you're doing and sharing that story. wealth of information. I'm going to turn it over to Kimberly real quick, Kimberly Pelzer. Kimberly has done an amazing job throughout this. If you haven't seen, to monitor the Q&A and the chat box simultaneously to answer your questions. And it doesn't look like we have any left because she's answered them along the way. But I'm going to put Kimberly on the spot since we have just a couple minutes. Kimberly, are there any highlights, though, from those questions that you think are worthy of sharing with the entire audience? There's nearly 80 participants who might not have seen the response to that. Or maybe a couple of key themes that you think you took away from that. Maybe share your website or some of the websites, any of the information that you have, because there's no questions right now.
Right. Thanks, Adam. I appreciate it. So kind of the running theme that I've seen is where do we go to apply for jobs? And I believe Jenica stated that it's the USA Jobs website. And I did put that in the chat for everyone to see. It's www.usajobs.gov. And I've also seen a question about how long it takes once a certificate is issued for interviews to be scheduled. And that answer is it really kind of depends. There is a best qualified process that once a hiring official receives a certificate that he or she will go through to kind of narrow the list that the HR folks send to them. And then once that is complete, then they will normally go into their interview process and interview amongst the best qualified. So it's really kind of a toss up as to how many folks that they receive on the certificate as to how long that takes. Of course, we like for them to move as quickly as possible to get that done within about a week or so. And there was a question, Amy, I'm not sure if you saw in the chat, if you could share the links to the digital job links that you had on your slide, that would be great. You can either send them to me or put them in the chat for everyone because someone did request that.
Any more?
Okay, so it looks like we have a question from Sierra Washington. I am interested in a job in the VA, but I'm not sure what additional degrees I may need or if my degree matches up. Is there anyone that can help me with this? Absolutely. And the OPM website is very helpful for that. Some of the positions do have a positive education requirement, such as our voc rehab counselors or like an accountant, they would have a positive education requirement, and all that is listed on the OPM website under the qualification standards, and I'll be sure to link that for you, Sierra, in just a minute. Looks like Kevin, I was best qualified back in July, and it still shows I have been referred. Can I contact someone on this? Yes, Kevin, there is a point of contact listed at the bottom of every vacancy announcement. So if you have a copy of that, just look at the bottom and it should have a point of contact for an HR person that is responsible for that person. It should have their email and their telephone number with that information, and you can reach out to that person to get a status check.
How about I'll take the one from Dalton real quick. Dalton, and for everyone out there, this session was recorded, and we will put it on our website at hiringourheroes.org under the career community in the next day or so. So all this is recorded, and you can pull it down and review it at your leisure in the next day or two if you just check our website. You had another question then, Kimberly.
Okay, does the media department where the newsletter is published have any positions open? We would have to check specifically for that business line. Stella, if you could provide us with your email address, that would be great.
Good. It looks like no questions unless I'll give you a couple seconds if someone had something burning. But Kimberly, if someone had a follow-up question, and they didn't put it on the session today and they wanted to contact you, how can they reach you maybe? And then you could maybe direct them to somebody in the organization to.
Absolutely. Yeah. So they can reach out to me directly. My email address is Kimberly, KIMBERLEE .Pelzer, P as in Paul, EL, Z as in zebra, ER, va.gov. And I'll also put that in the chat.
Great, thank you so much. Well, there's a couple more now. A couple more just coming in. Do you want
Okay.
to take we have a minute or two before I wrap it up. You want to take a few of those on?
Okay. Let me.
I'll talk about the virtual career fair. How's that?
Okay.
I'm going to tackle that. I was going to put this out at the end, but for all of you listening now, if you are not registered for tomorrow's virtual career fair, I highly encourage you to do so. But you can do that at hiringourheroes.org. Go under the scheduled events there, and you'll be able to look under the 9th of September. There should be a registration link there for the virtual career fair tomorrow. Just fill that out, and then someone will contact you, and we'll make sure that you get registered and get the link to it. Kimberly, any of these other ones you want to tackle?
Okay, yes. So are there any documents needed for the virtual hiring on tomorrow? Yes, you will need your resume, as well as copies of your unofficial transcript, as well as any veterans documentation, DD 214, disability letter, etc. You will need to have that for the fair. Should I apply to multiple listings of the same position? I'm not sure I quite understand your question. So if there is a job posted at multiple locations, it's normally done under one vacancy announcement, and you can pick the different locations that you're interested in. But that's normally done under one vacancy announcement if they're different locations. Multiple listings, I'm not, if you could kind of define that, please, if I didn't answer your question. Okay, here's one from Cindy. I'm currently with VHA with Vision 8. I'm highly interested in crossing over to VBA. I don't see many entry-level positions on USA Jobs open for St. Pete. Please advise on internal transfer. So yeah, you would need to apply to a vacancy announcement. There is no more what we used to call the hardship transfer process. So it would need to be an open vacancy announcement. VBA, our entry level position, is more than likely the VSR, the Veteran Service Representative position, and that is posted at the GS7 level externally. And those postings would be on our USA Jobs website to include for the St. Petersburg area. So, but you would need to apply to a vacancy announcement.
You're on a roll, Kimberly. Like, going.
All right, I'm trying to make sure I get to everybody.
You're doing great. Thank you.
Let's
you listening, thanks for your patience, but I'm sure her responses are helping everybody, so thank you.
Is the virtual career fair for specific business units or career fields? We do have business lines that have some vacancies that we will be highlighting on tomorrow. If there is an opening in other areas and if there is an interest, everything will be on USA Jobs, and you are free to apply that way. But tomorrow we will be highlighting, I believe it's 2 of our business lines. And I'm going to toss Dee's question over to Carrie. As a surviving spouse of 100% disabled Vietnam vet, am I eligible for VA programs? Do you mean hiring programs or any type of benefits? And that's from D. Okay. If the location is the same, but they have 2 listings under payroll tech and USA Jobs, I apply for one of those positions. The other position is still there, but the details are the exact same, meaning they have 2 openings. Right. So if there is one vacancy announcement and it lists 2 vacancies, that means they have 2 openings for that specific vacancy announcement.
Is she there or is she typing it in?
Carrie, can you hear me?
Sorry, I was talking and didn't unmute all my microphones. Apologize for that.
Thanks,
So
Carrie.
as a surviving spouse, if you have not been remarried, you would be eligible for the military spouse program. When you are applying for a job, make sure that you do have the death certificate of your spouse, his service-connected letter from the Veterans Affairs, and then you would also need your marriage certificate as well.
Thank you, Carrie. And I'll just put a plug in for Harner Hills as well. We have some programs that are specific for military spouses as well. And so, Dee, if you're interested, please go to our website, as I stated before, and you can see it there. And you can root through there and you'll find some military spouse programs that we might be able to assist you. Well, it looks like, Kimberly, you've answered every question. You've done an amazing job today. I appreciate your persistence in watching both the chat box and the Q&A box simultaneously and answering all those questions. So what I'll do is, I think what we'll do is wrap it up here. And she's given you enough information, all of you listening, and some points of contact. So if you have follow-on questions, please, as Kimberly gave out her email, I'd start with her and then she'll direct you to the other folks, or go to the websites that she's given you. I also highly encourage you to go to our website to register for the virtual career fair tomorrow. It's still open. We're excited to have you. And I know the VBA is excited to see you in the dialogue box when you get to the career fair tomorrow. For all the speakers today, we've had about 10 of them or 11 so far. Thank you very much. A wealth of knowledge. I appreciate all your continued service in the VBA and what you're doing for our service members, those that are transitioning, those veterans and those military spouses. It means a lot to me, and it means a lot to everybody out there. So thank you very much. The rest of today, if you're interested, we do have some other content that the Harner Hills has. At 1 o'clock, we've got interviewing. At 4 o'clock, we've got another employment connector with another company called Parsons. And then this evening, at 7 o'clock, we have a corporate fellowship program information session. Tomorrow, again, at 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern time, is the virtual career fair specific to Student Veterans of America, and we highly encourage you to register for that. To Mr. Smith, the Executive Director, appreciate your keynote and the comments there. And for all of you that are listening, I wish you the very best of luck. Thank you all so much. Great information session, and have a great day. This completes your session. Thank you.